Also, starting new traditions. And so that's what we've been doing, and or not, sorry, that's one of the things that was so helpful, I think, in kind of getting back to myself and feeling better about the holidays. Sorry, I was looking at things. I want to make sure this volume was working. I wasn't sure. Make sure if you're it here. Let me know in the chat and down in the chat if you can hear me. But anyway, so that kind of re-energized me and got me back on the reporting and stuff spirit. And so also kind of trying a new little format today. Normally, I stream more so from my other page, is more so my personal page, but I find that you all on my Miss Margaret Live fan page, shout out to y'all, really engage more with the news, with the articles and stuff. So that's why we are trying this out and seeing how it works, just solely streaming over here and streaming over on our YouTube channel. So if you have not done so already, make sure that you subscribe to our new YouTube channel. Okay, I know y'all probably like, can we get the heck on with this? Yes, we can. There's been so much going on, obviously, this week in the news. So much so there's certain things that I have put on my little, advertisement. So y'all know we're gonna talk about that. I was like, dang, I actually um missed some things because there was just so much going on. So I'm actually gonna go ahead and share my screen. Oh, actually, I already got it up. Ha! So as you see here, it's Jonathan Majors. Now, of course, this headline is not, um, having to do with the actual excuse me, trial in itself. But if you follow me on social media, then you know that I reported on this, that Jonathan Major was found guilty of assault, excuse me, and harassment. I know some people, well, let me just go on into this and then we can go ahead and talk about it. So, TMZ was the first one I saw to break the story. Shout out to TMZ. It says here Jonathan Majors was found guilty in his criminal trial after a jury decided the actor's fate following 3 days of deliberations. The verdict came down Monday in NYC, and the actor was found guilty on one count of assault in the third degree and guilty of harassment. Remember, he was initially slapped with 8 separate charges, all pertaining to the alleged assault and harassment. But before things kicked off, the DA's office agreed to drop 4 of them in an effort to consolidate their complaint. He was acquitted of 2 other counts of assault and aggravated harassment. Now, according to this article, he faces up to a year in jail. I just was like, I edit some things on there. I'm not even gonna lie, I'm not even gonna hold y'all. I did not follow this case like that. You know what I mean? I really didn't. So I'm not even gonna sit here and act like I have all the information and stuff on it. But what do y'all but I did well, actually, let me back this up. I did see a video of, what all this stemmed from, and how she was saying that she had this broken finger and all these injuries. To me, it looked like he was running for his life. I mean, that man, and it's not funny, okay, but I was just not expecting him to sprint like that. I mean, like I said, I'm late. This video has been out, I think, for a while now. It had to have been. So I'm just now seeing, okay, I'm the late one, but damn, that man was running. He was running like he was in a Marvel movie. Okay, and let's get on to that, because as you may or may not know, Marvel dropped him from his contract. He had um the big movie that was supposed to be coming up. I don't know if it's Kane Rising, Kane. I don't know what it is. But I'm just now getting into Marvel because of my son. Okay, so y'all don't come on here. Don't do it. Okay, I don't need Marvel people trolls. Okay, getting on me this morning. It's too early for that. But I do love the Marvel movies that I have seen. Anyway, he was dropped from his contract. What do y'all think? Let me know in the chat. Do y'all think that he should have been dropped? From Marvel. I mean, the thing about it, to me, I felt like it was going to happen either way. Just simply him being involved in this, and of course him being a black man, there wasn't going to be probably a lot of room because Marvel is connected to Disney. So it's like, of course, they're not going to want to be associated with anything that has to do with domestic violence, violence against, just whatever, with someone being in a children's movie. I mean, even in real life. Well, no, because there's a lot of people been accused of that and have been in plenty of stuff. But something for kids, of course, I already knew that. Even if Disney did say, okay, we're going to keep them, I'm going to just put the white moms all across America and wherever the heck else they be at would have been coming for Disney, and just Disney would have eventually let them go. But what do you think? And you know what? I saw someone, again, I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing because this isn't funny. But I saw someone talking about, so do y'all think that this a part of Megan's role is to stand by him with sentencing? Y'all, I didn't know what they were talking about at first. I was like, his role, like, what are they, or her role, like, what are they talking about? They talking about as if Megan was hired to be his girlfriend through this trial to make him look better. I'm not even gonna lie, I didn't follow the relationship. It did seem kind of random when she got with him, but then again, I mean, I mean, a lot of, I guess, these setups seem random, and a lot of them I know are set up through their publicists, but I'm trying to figure out what the conversation would have been that would even make sense for that. I don't know. I don't think she would do that, but you know what? This is Hollywood. Okay. And so, because I do think a lot of people did look at that and thought, well, Megan wouldn't be with him, and she thought that this is true. You know what I mean? She was just with the pastor. What was the book they had? Worth the wait or something? I don't know. I don't know if it was worth it, but so I don't know. We'll see. I really would be shocked, actually kind of pissed, if he did any jail time. Because like I said, from what I saw, even with the recording that I heard, I did not hear anything that should have, to me, okay, in my opinion, resulted in a guilty verdict. So let me know down in the chat what you think about that. You saw I take that rhyme like that, and I am going to take like a I swear a super quick little break here while I just get some things um going on here in the stream. But let me know what you think about that. Do you think that Jonathan Majors should have been let go from his contract? Do you think it was fair? Do you feel like they should have been given, I don't know, more chances, whatever the case may be? Let me know in the comments down below, and we will be right back. All right, y'all, and we are back. Um, I really wanted to let me just go into this right here because I gotta get into Dr. Jackie Walters from Married to Med. I was trying to figure out what I wanted to start with first, but my soul is just so irritated by the words that she said. And here's the thing. I was gonna pull up. I could pull up. Let's just go ahead and do this. You see, Dr. Jackie here below Oprah. We're gonna get into what we're talking about with Oprah here too. Okay, but Dr. Jackie, Dr. Jackie Walters. Now, y'all, a lot of y'all know her from well, most of us know her from the reality show Married to Med. I love Married to Medicine. Um, and you would never think that the words that I'm about to say right now that came from her mouth would come from her mouth. So it's kind of funny, this picture that I'm about to use. Um, you can't really see it, I guess. Dang it. Anyway, um, it actually talks about her. It says Dr. Jackie responds to haters. Um, And so Dr. Jackie has come under fire this week because here she is down here, like I said, in the bottom left corner, looking beautiful. But for some reason, well, for those who don't know, Dr. Jackie is on Married to Medicine reality show on Bravo. She also is a real life, doctor. She's an OBGYN. She has a lot of high profile Black clients like Candy Burris, for example. And she is really known as somebody who people go to because they assume that they are going to get, particularly Black women, the fair treatment and non-judgment that they deserve. But for some reason, I posted about this on my Instagram. Dr. Jackie, well, actually, no, this came as a result because recently Dr. Jackie had sat down with Vice President Kamala Harris, and they were talking about the Black maternal health crisis. And as someone who has experienced that, and experienced um, not being heard, and it resulting in me having to be readmitted to the hospital just days after I had given birth, um, I, you know, we tell people so often, or to find a Black doctor. So many people aren't even dealing with doctors. They would rather have someone else. I'm forgetting like the technical term. Y'all can let me know in the chat. So I was gonna say doula, but it's that, or like a midwife, somebody there, because they don't trust what's going on in the hospitals. Period. But Dr. Jackie's someone who a lot of Black women would go to because they assume that they are going to get the fair treatment. But for some crazy reason, Dr. Jackie, uh, this was a couple of years ago on an Instagram live with her. It was actually her and Dr. Heavenly. And she goes, I like I said, I posted about this on my Instagram. Um, in this live with Dr. Heavenly, and I'm actually gonna read this from The Root. Shout out to The Root who covered this. It said, Married to Medicine star Dr. Jackie Walters is in the hot seat after controversial comments are coming back to bite her. An old YouTube video, an old YouTube live clip of a conversation Walters had been making the rounds, and it captures well-known OBGYN accusing pregnant Black women of being dramatic about their health concerns to get a day off. What she said was sometimes as African American women we're a bit more dramatic in that you go to the doctor and you complain, you complain, you complain, and you're not taken seriously because you cry wolf the entire pregnancy. Walter said in the clip, we want to also make sure that you're being serious with your doctor, not playing the game so that you could take off work, because then we see you 25 times in the pregnancy. It's hard to believe there's a true problem when there's a true problem. I could barely even get the statement without wanting to go off, but I'm gonna give y'all a little further context. Like I said, this was during a YouTube live with Dr. Heavenly, who all she didn't agree, she didn't disagree. All she said was, I'm not one of them, so I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, good play on her part, because she ain't gonna get dragged into this. But the reason why this even came up is because Dr. Jacob was recently, sitting down with Vice President. Kamala Harris talking about the Black maternal health crisis, which the whole so like 80% of that conversation is the fact that doctors do not take Black women seriously when they complain. I don't like to say complain because that just makes it sound like it's not real. You know what I'm saying? But when they tell their doctors that I'm experiencing this pain, this is not normal, I'm going through all these things. I know people who have gone to the hospital, told them, hey, this is what's going on with me. And they sent them home. And the next day they ended up back in the hospital. Um, and lost their child. I know, like I said for myself, man, I can't that's I'm trying to I don't even it's boiling my blood to even think about this situation and even take myself back to it. But when I was in the hospital, I remember at first I had the nurse, she was white. And at first she was real cool, real cool. Then the next day, I don't know what happened. All of a sudden it flipped. And I think partially is because she didn't know that I knew as much as I knew. So my doctor had really done a great job with educating me and kind of let me know like they're gonna try you. She didn't really say why, I don't know. I know now why, but she's like, "They're gonna try you," and so she let me know, like, she already knew I wasn't gonna be dealing with pain, so here's a point where you can get, this certain medication, or you can get an epidural, or you can, whatever the case may be, and I think me knowing the information, the nurse, she wasn't feeling that because I think she really wanted to be and feel in charge, and so it just she like we refused to get me like the epidural. She would just refuse to do a lot of things. But then when the doctors would come in, they'd be like, "Oh yeah, like why didn't you get this set up?" I remember she tried to like get off work before getting the doctor to give me my pain medication. Like she was really determined to not do this. And then fortunately, I ended up going around her and just getting straight to the doctor and telling him like this crazy ass lady is refusing to give me something that I know that I need. And then they stepped in. Like, and that's what I'm saying though, as this was what this why this conversation even irritates me that she would say these things because Black women, we have to fight so hard. Mariah Huck said it best. She went on live. Mariah Huck is the creator of Married to Medicine. She was like, we're already fighting against so many stereotypes. So then for you to say this as a Black physician whose primary base and who you cater to is Black women out here saying these crazy ass things because these Black women are coming to you because they're thinking they're going to get away from it. Like, I'm going to go to Dr. Jackie because I am going to be taken seriously. I'm going to go to Dr. Jackie, because if I have to see other physicians and other people is going to tell me the right thing to do. You know what I'm saying? And so I'll be taken care of. There's so many Black women who have either died during giving birth, died or had so many complications after that simply because someone wouldn't listen to them. So for Dr. Jackie to like again be someone not only who primarily caters to Black women, who and who people like Kamala Harris, you know what I mean, are looking at to speak on this issue because she's assuming, of course, that she's gonna be someone who's going to not say these things, and they're also both AKA. So I'm assuming there was, that and that. Shout out to the AKAs. You know what I mean? It's like they people have been saying it's dangerous, it's heinous, it's ridiculous. And then the thing about it too is, Dr. Jackie, she puts out this quote unquote apology. Let me pull it up here. And of course, Dr. Jackie is never known as someone to take accountability, really. If y'all recall just a few years ago in the same show, she shouted out to a whole crowd of people that one of the castmates, Buffy, was infertile. Like, what? Why would you do that? So she's come under fire before, you know, about this. And let me see if okay, so here's her barely there. I don't know, y'all heard me just take a screenshot because I really didn't even pay attention to what I saw because I was like, this is not an apology, but what do I expect? So what she said was, she says, recently a clip from a nearly 2-hour video was taken out of context to make it appear that I somehow take lightly that what I have advocated for concerning the devastating problem facing the Black maternal health crisis. It has been my life's work to highlight and attempt to rectify the issues that devastatingly impact Black maternal mothers versus our counterparts. As a physician, I educate my patients every day. to be their own best health advocate. Um, Sorry, I'm looking for the apology. I can't find it. That's why I got confused. To be their own best advocate as we continue to face medical mistreatment and gaslighting. My intention with the broader, but listen, this is too much. Yeah, I can't even sit here and go through this BS. But basically, I'll skip to the end. The reason I became an OBGYN is because growing up, I saw such a lack of diversity amongst medical professionals and was determined to be a part of the change. Blah blah blah. Dr. Jackie, where's the apology? Good morning, honey love. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know you are tuning in from too, because I know people be tuning in. And let me know what you think about this situation. I'm talking right now about Dr. Jackie Child. I don't know if you know about all this, but a resurface clip for those who are just tuning in have come up because Dr. Jackie was sitting down with Kamala Harris, okay, our vice president, okay, and they were talking about the crisis in Black maternal health. But as it turns out, Jackie's thoughts that she's had just as of 2 years ago, and that she did not deny in this barely their apology that I just read, resurfaced in this clip of this live from her Dr. Heavenly, where Dr. Jackie says that as well, she says African American women, but Black women, that we tend to be over dramatic and cry wolf when we are talking about concerns or complaints and stuff like that that's going on with our pregnancies. And we already know so many Black women have literally died, had so many complications after pregnancy. I'm one of them myself, who you know what I mean? Well, one that's happened to, but are going to people like Dr. Jackie because they're assuming that they're not gonna get that treatment. And you would just and you would have and like she said, she went into this work apparently to change this, but what did she change? A lot of people were saying too, like she only see a certain type of Black women anyway. They say, she don't take like Medicaid or nothing like that. She, like I said, a lot of her clients are very high profile. And I'm not like knocking whatever, but I'm just saying it yeah, it's kind of looking contradictory from what you claim to be. Let me know down in the chat what y'all think about this. I was pissed because, for me, like I said, I had a lot of complications with my pregnancy. That's stupid. I'm trying to cuss on here, but this is my show. This B had me pushing for 2 hours, y'all. 2 hours. 2 hours. I told her, I was like, I know I haven't had a baby before, but like nothing is moving. I know I haven't had a baby before, but nothing is moving. And this nurse, she had an attitude. Earlier in the call, I had told y'all about the nurse my additional nurse, who was cool until she realized that I knew my stuff because my doctor was the ish. And my doctor let me know they finna try you at this hospital. If I'm not there with you, I need you to have the facts. This is how far along that you can be when you can have this medication, because I deal with a lot of anxiety, y'all, so I can't do pain, you know what I mean? And she's like, and this is the point where you can get the epidural and this, and they're gonna do this and this and this, they're gonna try to tell you you can't have this and blah blah blah. So I went in there. I had a whole fact sheet, y'all. My doctor sent me to a whole workshop. Okay. So I came in there. I knew what I was talking about. I'm a Capricorn. So we gonna know. And once that nurse realized that I knew, oh, it was like a complete 180. My mama and my baby dad could tell you that. I mean, they're not, on the show right now, but they could. They could. Hey, Alice, I see you're here. Drop down in the chat. Say good morning. Thank you so much for tuning in. And then after that, I had some nurses who came in and then they were really great, you know what I mean? But then they ended up, getting off work. And then I had another white nurse who, like I said, she be pushing for 2 hours. She refused to get the doctor. I was telling her, like, ain't no way. Like, he's not moving. Ain't no way. And then she refused to get the doctor. And then finally she got the doctor. And let me just pull up for those who might be confused as to who I'm talking about with Dr. Jackie. But I'm not talking about Dr. Jackie, I'm just talking about my own situation. But she refused to get the doctor. And then finally, when she got the doctor came in and she was like, oh yeah, he was never coming out. The hell, I've been pushing for 2 hours going through all this because this nurse refused. She refused to be wrong. You know what I mean? She refused to acknowledge that I might know something that I'm talking about. So I just pulled this up here so y'all could get a closer look at who I'm talking about, Dr. Jackie. And I reported on this already, had a post up already pretty much all my platforms. So you can go on there. Love you too, Alice. Thank you so much. Thank you for being such a big supporter of the show and the overall platform. But yeah, this is Dr. Jackie for those who don't know what I'm talking about. Um, but and so then after that, they had to get me into an emergency C-section, okay? And so because of all this, I ended up then um two things happened. One, after I had my baby and I was in the hospital room, I was like damn near passing out like every few minutes. It was crazy. I was, one minute I'd be up and then all of a sudden I could feel myself going into this like sleep that I just could not prevent. And I'm like, of course, I've never had a major surgery. I hadn't had a baby, so I really didn't know what was normal and what was not normal. And then at some point, and then it got to the fact that now they got to give me blood transfusions. Like all these things that could have been avoided if she would just listen to what I was saying and got the dang on doctor. Then after that, I ended up back in the hospital because during the emergency C-section, I ended up getting an infection in my uterus. And so I ended up going back into the hospital. I was having a lot of pain. I was having a lot of pain walking, shortness of breath. Again, I don't never had a surgery before. I don't never had a baby before. I don't know what's normal, what's not normal, what a recovery is supposed to be like, not be like. And I actually thank God I went to I went to it was my lactation consultant, and towards the end of the appointment, I think she was noticing how I was walking. I don't think she saw me come in. I can't remember what the case was, and she was like, "Oh no, this is not supposed to be going on at all. Like you need to go down to the ER right now." And I also remember coming out of the office and going walking to the car. I had met my son's dad. He was there. He was in front of me carrying the baby because obviously I couldn't do nothing. Well, and as he should. And I was kind of getting into the passenger seat. I remember this old white man coming down the street just out of nowhere and saying, "You poor thing. You poor thing." And that's when I really was like, okay, yeah, this is not. And so we went over to the hospital. I had a black nurse and she really was just so gentle. She really was just like very sympathetic to what was going on. And even honestly, I had great staff really that whole time. But I remember a nurse sitting on my bed and kind of talking to me and saying, like, sometimes when they do these emergency things, because it's such a quick situation, basically stuff can slip in because, they can't they're not maybe crossing every T and every I or dotting every I. And I was so depressed being back in that room, because like I said, I was seeing a lactation consultant. I had already been struggling with breastfeeding. So I was feeling a lot of things of like feeling like I'm a failure as a mom. Now I'm having trouble breastfeeding. Now I'm not with my kid, just the mental and emotional toll that takes. And thank God for those nurses and thank God I was a doctor, Dr. Peoples. I gotta find her. I don't know if she's still taking patients or whatever. Obviously, this was 9 years ago, but it was Dr. Peebles, not Peoples, Peebles, and she was the one who really, like, saved my life and got me to the point where they were able to release me from the hospital. Y'all, it was crazy. And so when I see things like this and I see things like Dr. Jackie, and I had the article, y'all, like I said, this retrograde is retrograding, okay? So it's not letting me pull up my beautiful article that I made about it, but y'all see the picture. And it's crazy because it's Dr. Jackie Walters has the most Dr. Jackie message for her haters. We ain't hating. This is an old thing that y'all looking at. We're not hating. We're speaking facts because it's BS of stuff that she said. And I watched the video, y'all, so I know she said it. She was standing on it. Okay, she was standing on business, but she said it. It's how Black women like me go in situations like that. It's how Black women like my friend, who go and tell you, something's wrong, and y'all send her home the next day. She comes back and then loses the baby. You know what I mean? So many Black women who I know, and so many personal stories who I know who would have not gone through the things that we went through if someone had just listened. You know what I'm saying? And you know what, y'all want to have a full episode on that? Let me know. Because you know what I mean, whether it's Dr. Jackie, whatever, whoever it is that has us talking about this and sharing these stories, it's so important. You know what I mean? Because it's not just even like the white physicians who feel this way. You have a whole Black doctor who people have said, some of her castmates, and even there were people, patients of hers who were commenting. Ooh, I could read it now, y'all, too, who were commenting on the page I'm like, "What do you mean you can read it now?" Why? It's just you don't go anyway. I couldn't pull it up on here, but I can pull it up on my phone. Who were commenting saying like, "Oh, so is this why I almost lost my life in your care, child?" If you don't know who Dr. Jackie is, like she's a very like renowned like physician. Like people really like look to her like on the show is like just she's very held in a very high regard. And she's someone who people really trust, especially for black women. But there were a lot of people who commented and were like, "Oh, so this is why I got terrible treatments. This is why I almost damn near lost my life or lost my child, when I was in your care." I really should have put a trigger warning up. So it's a little late, but this trigger warning because the stuff that I'm talking about is triggering. I'm just scrolling through to find the comments. But there's a lot of people who said that, and of course, it's crazy because people would think that, you know what I mean, that wouldn't be the case. Um, and so to see this is just shocking, and to know also that you were someone that people are looking to be the spokesperson for black maternal health for black women, and you're out here saying don't take it seriously. Okay, like here's something that someone was saying. This isn't about Dr. Jackie, but here's a commenter. Shout out to it looks like Nija Cat. This is on the neighborhood talk. Y'all follow the neighborhood talk. This is where I begin on my celebrity gossip and stuff. They're really good. And they said, my friend in college went to the ER with severe cramps. They sent her home and she died 2 days later of cervical cancer. It's a damn shame. She would say something like this: when black women reproductive health is in shambles and many are ignored. Um, and I'm trying to find another one um where someone else talked about, specifically in her care. Um, now here's someone who says this is the same doctor who didn't come to see me, her patient at the time, in the hospital for over a month. My amniotic fluid was leaking, and so I was bedridden for the month, and my baby still came 2 months early and was in NICU for a month. She didn't see me or my baby even after she was born. Choosing a doctor just because they are black ain't it, because it be your own kind who don't give a damn about you. Ooh, this is from Wonderfully Made. It's like by Taryn. So y'all, this is just really like I said, there's so many horrific stories that black women have gone through pregnancy. So for Jackie to say this, and I'm gonna get off it, but I want to kind of share my why this really triggered me. You know what I mean? And then her lack of accountability, because all you can really say for that is just be like, yeah, I said it, I'm sorry, I was dead wrong. But in true Jackie form, she ain't gonna say that. So y'all let me know in the chat, like, do you think that this is something where it's like, this is really going to have an impact on how black women are viewed? How do you feel about what Dr. Jackie is saying? Hell, there may be some people in here. I doubt it. I doubt it. But there may be some people in here who feel like I agree. Again, I doubt it because I don't think I have them type of people following my show. But let's move on to something else. Let's move on to some. Let's see. Try to move on to something. I ain't really got a lot. Okay, here we go. I was like, I ain't really got a lot of light stuff for y'all today. Uh Oprah, she can come a little on the fire. We're gonna go into that a little bit too, but I'll say my girl, because y'all be one minute y'all love Oprah, and the next day you don't. So I'm just gonna go with how I feel, which is I love Oprah at all times. Oprah, of course, that there is so much press going on for the color purple. Shout out to them though for stepping up on the I don't want to say stepping up, but um pressing okay with this movie, because y'all saw, I think a lot of people learned from the Barbie movie and how much press went into that. Um and how, because people are like, how did the Barbie movie get so big out of nowhere? Because they spent more money on the marketing than they did the dang on movie. Okay. You got to invest. And so I love the fact that with the color purple, they're doing so much press and really putting it in our faces, because the color purple, I ain't gonna lie, y'all. I ain't gonna lie. I had no, I'm kind of warming up to it. I had no interest in going to see the movie because I think it's a very powerful, important, and necessary story for one. And, movie as well, because it truly shows the resilience of Black women, and also really shows what so much of Black women have gone through. Like, so some maybe that's just a movie, but for a lot of people, that's real life. You know what I mean? And we know that Oprah herself was molested by, I believe it was her uncle, and got pregnant by him. And so I know it's a very important story for her to tell. And just the way it ends really just be like, you know what? I could have gone through all this stuff, but I will prevail and I will win. But it's not an easy movie to watch. So I tell people, like, I don't enjoy watching the first movie. I think I've seen it like twice. Um, certain movies, you just need to, you don't like you don't hear people being like, "Oh, y'all want to see Precious?" No, no, that's not something you just pop in. You know what I'm saying, during Christmas, even though it came out during the Christmas season. I remember going to see it with my mom. That's not something you just, you know what I'm saying, you just open the door to all willy nilly. So I really didn't have an interest in seeing the remake of The Color Purple. I'd even told people I will buy a ticket but not go just to support, just so they get the numbers and stuff at the box office. That's the type of Black supporter I am. Okay. But I love the fact that, and the Fisk Guide in me, which Fisk Guide is someone who's graduated from Fisk University, for those who are confused, did really not want to report about this, okay? Because y'all know we got the little rivalry going on with TSU, Tennessee State University, which is down the street. Anyway, so for those who may not know, Oprah is an alumna of TSU. I'm not gonna go into the fact that for the longest we used to say she was like an honor. Anyway, because the whole thing was that, people said she went to TSU, she didn't graduate. But I know that she received her degree from them in 1987, but when she, let me just go into it because I don't want to be shady. I don't want to be shady. It's the Fisk Guide in me. Let me just go ahead and read the article. Okay, so shout out to WSMV4 in Nashville, who reported that Oprah Winfrey gave Tennessee State University staff, students, members of the community an early Christmas gift on Tuesday night. She gifted them a screening of the movie The Color Purple. Now, there have been a lot of screenings that have been going on around the country. I've seen Oprah pop up at screens around the country, which I think is so dope. I love it. Oprah been looking good. We're not gonna look at sis in the picture. Okay. She on that Ozempic out here changing lives. Could y'all find something that we could take to grow our butts and get thick? Like, y'all be putting on stuff to lose weight. I get it, but what about us Slim Jims out here? Okay, who want to advance and enhance, you know, without having gone to a knife and all that. Can y'all get that? Can y'all get an Ozempic? Oh, there we go. Ozempic. That's what someone put. I ain't gonna be the one to create it. One of y'all listen. I don't care if you still there and created or Ozempic. Y'all tag them in this Ozempic. I'm not trying to lose weight. I'm trying to get thicker in certain areas. And the areas where it's getting thick, I needed to move on down the road. Okay, get thick where it's supposed to be. Um, we got the top part right, but we got anyway. Ozempic. Okay, someone go ahead and create that. So let me get back to because what I was talking about Oprah and TSU and started talking about that. Anyway, so this goes on to say that the TSU alumna is a producer on the film and starred in the original version, as we all know. And she it goes on to say here that this opportunity was a full circle moment for the university's Student Government Association president, who remembers seeing the 1986 film while growing up. So their SGA president is Darrell Taylor. He goes on to say here, so now that he's a little bit older, it gives him a new perspective to really be able to understand a little bit deeper the story and just understanding of what it means to our culture, which makes sense, right? And also says what it means to us as students and what it means as we continue to grow within this world. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the same too. I mean, when I saw it, I was younger. I remember reading the book. I don't remember how old I was. The book, if you read that, or even the book Precious, which is not called Precious, I can't remember what the book is called. I don't think it's called Precious. I think it's called something as child. They can only put so much to the movie. Okay, Ozempic. Okay, Morgan, exactly. Ozempic. Someone go ahead and create that. Like, why has no one thought about this? I don't understand why we still have not created some type of pill that works for that. It's just, I don't even know. Anyway, but the one thing that I wrote, this was not in the article. Okay, I put my little razzle dazzle on it myself. Okay, it says here that well, look, I said it says here that like I didn't write it. Okay, but so one thing I said I want to note is that Oprah did not receive her degree from TSU until she was a big television star. That's not shade. I'm not saying they only gave it to her because she was a star. I'm just saying that's what it says the timeline. Okay, that's no shade. I'm just saying they didn't give it to her because she didn't turn in her last paper, so she technically didn't graduate. When she became a star, they was like, "Oh, that's Oprah. Go ahead and get rid of the degree." Anyways, like I said, it's no tea, no shade. Let me stick to what I was sticking to because it's positive black news. My whole point, though, in that I'm sure at the time when she didn't turn in that final paper, which one day I will interview her and ask her what that was about. But I'm sure at the time there was part of her maybe felt like but maybe a part was a failure, not completing something. I feel like Oprah is something. She's an Aquarius, but she's a January Aquarius. So I feel like she is the type of person who would be like, no, like, I'm someone who completes things, who gets things done. I mean, look at her show. You don't have a show like that, a legacy like this, without someone who gets things done. So I'm sure there are parts where that maybe kind of thought, you know what I mean? Oh, how is this going to impact me? Blah, blah, blah. And look at her now. And I know myself, like I stated on my platforms, I graduated on time, okay, from Fisk University. But it wasn't an easy thing. We can go into that conversation a different day. And there have been times where I've thought maybe if I had done things differently, maybe if I had taken this particular opportunity, things would be different now. But I also remember that if I had done certain things differently, I wouldn't have been in the place where I was when George Floyd was murdered. I would not have been able to lend my gifts and talents and voice to the movement. I maybe probably wouldn't have met, the man who was the father of my child. And not saying that I'm talking about him, I'm talking about the fact that, to be able to have my son and who he is today. Okay, so a lot of times we think if I would have done this, I would have done that, but dwelling on it doesn't help. You know what I mean? We have to also realize that our paths are really already laid out for us for exactly where we're supposed to be. And maybe if we don't feel like that, maybe we have to go through this to get to where we're supposed to be. Okay, y'all gonna write that down, but make sure you credit me because I'll sue you. Anyway, so I was really dope. Now, actually, this goes into our next piece too, because like I said, Oprah has though been coming under some fire. Like I said, women y'all like her, women y'all don't. And so I turn the music up a little bit, y'all, because I like to have music on in the background when I'm reporting. I can't wait for y'all to see how this format is going to change next year. But I can't talk about it. Can't talk about it right now. I got to learn from telling y'all stuff too early. But so moving into this, so the reason why I say Oprah has also kind of come under fire. Why is my cover letter up here? Sorry, y'all. I just act like I didn't say that. It's because Taraji P. Henson. Now, this post right here, when I posted this on my Miss Margaret Live fan page, y'all, it went up. Let me go to it right now. It has like a ton of traction on it. Like I didn't when I posted it, I actually kind of thought I was late. I was like, people gonna see this and they gonna be like, oh well, we already know about this, yada yada yada. So they ain't going. I didn't think it was gonna get as much traction because I thought, well, people already know about this, but man, was I wrong. So right now, we got 2.5K reactions on this. This post you're seeing right now, 648 comments, 579 shares, and now 579 you're about to get messages like my page. Okay, it's a hustle out here. Who can't wait till my social media intern starts next year. Anyway, this is a lot. So y'all know I reported on this because I can resonate so much with this. And for those who are tuning in, make sure you drop down the chat where you are tuning in from, okay? Because I know I got people tuning in from all over the place. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's a great broadcast we got going this morning. I don't want to say poor Taraji, right? Because she's not poor, like financially, but I feel like poor Taraji because I can relate so much to what she is talking about. We're going to go into for a second. I don't know if people have ever read her book. Taraji has been through a lot. Just in general, we know, or you may not know that she just did the mental health series. I want to say it was last year before, which is really great. And she interviewed a lot of celebrities, and particularly a lot of Black women, which I love, who talked about, just the different ways, different experiences impacted their mental health, different ways, where people who have, it's been hereditary, and like the case with my dad's side of the family. I always like to clarify that because I want my mom to be like, huh? Um, and so I don't think a lot of people realize, um, just how much Taraji has really been through. So get her book. I actually started it, I haven't finished it, but I told myself I'm gonna finish it after this book I'm reading now. Y'all, I love to have a book, something to read. But so recently Taraji had sat down and interviewed with Gayle King, and some of her other castmates were there as well. And Gayle King had basically asked her about this rumor that was circulating that she was at one point in time, or is currently, whatever the case might be, seriously considering quitting acting. Um, and so I really don't even have to kind of read what TMZ said, because, well, no, let me read it, because there is the math part I want to read to y'all, because I don't remember the numbers off the top of my head, but I watched the video. And I was like, Taraji, I feel you. And I'm not even at that level. I'm gonna get to it. I'm not that yet level yet of her stardom and celebrity. Okay, but it says here, the actress broke down in tears when asked if she was seriously considering quitting acting, telling Gayle King, Oprah's BFF. They didn't put that in there. I just want to put that in there because I'm gonna come back to that in a minute. She feels uncertain about her on-screen career, and money is the main factor. And like I said, this was something that Gayle had asked her, okay, about this rumor and if it was true. So she says she's still being underpaid for big movie roles despite being a well-established and super famous actress, which has reached her boiling point. I love the way that Taraji broke this down, because I tell people all the time, fame does not automatically equal fortune. Now, I'm not saying that Taraji is broke, poor, doesn't have money. I don't believe that at all, okay? But a lot of times people just assume, because they see people on TV, period, that now they all have this buku money and all that. Y'all just seen all these actors go on strike because they told y'all they ain't being paid. You seeing these writers, or the writers go on strike, and you see these actors going on strike with them because they're not being paid. Right, okay? If and y'all think Black people, a Black woman get paid her worth, come on now. This ain't no new tale. But anyway, let me get, because see, I get distracted. Let me go back to the context. Okay, so it says the way that she breaks it down, what she does in this video, is that, even if she's paid, let's say 10 mil for a movie, Uncle Sam, these are exact words, are going to take 50% of that, right? Then out of that, she still has to pay all these members of her team, which I think a lot of people forget that when they see these big numbers. As she said, which is not in this article, none of them, and she's referring to her and her other castmates who were sitting there, and they were, snapping and going to church right with her. She was like, none of us are doing this without a team. All of us are doing this with the team. You can't be at that level. Hell, I'm struggling right now without a team. You know what I mean? You've got your managers, your publicists, your talent agent, your makeup artist, your hairstylist, your stylist. I didn't even say assistant yet. I just named 7 people on one team, right? And then whoever else you're paying to do whatever else. And so you have to pay all those people. It's like she said, the math ain't math, and it sounds like this article says, it sounds like this has been an issue going on for a while. And the thing about it, she also said too in the video I watched, she said people say, you work so much, and she says I have to work so much, because she's not getting what she deserves. She talks about the movie Benjamin Button, where she says she's asking for 500,000, was only paid 100,000. And I saw, first of all, I'm trying to figure out when I started this. I saw people say, well, she should have only taken the 500,000. You know how long ago this movie was? This movie was years ago. And you're talking about a Black woman in Hollywood who is trying to advance themselves, make a way to be what she got, which is an Academy Award. She should have been a winner, but Academy Award nominee, to be taken seriously in the career. And that particular movie was a huge opportunity and success. But I'm sure the conversation at the time was like, this is the best you gonna get. You should take this because this could propel you into this and that. Doesn't mean that it still wasn't wrong. Doesn't mean that she didn't deserve the money. What she's saying is that she knew that asking price made sense. I'm sure that was probably even lower of what she really should have been asking for. I'm sure her other some other castmates who didn't even put in half the work that got what they asked for, and she only got 100,000. And so this is a common story for so many Black women. I think, I'm trying to figure out even where to start with this. I mean, but so many high profile Black celebrities from Jada to Viola, obviously Monique have already talked about this. Now, when Meryl Streep talked about it, she was all over the news, all the support and go Meryl Streep. I remember in her acceptance speech where she stood up, I can't remember her exact words, but basically it was all about women and needing and demanding, needing, and deserving fair treatment in Hollywood. And it was like, go Meryl Streep. And, I like Meryl Streep and everything, but I'm just saying, when these Black women come out and say, it's crazy to me when I see even my own people in the comments saying, well, I need to see receipts. Well, that's just being entitled. And what? Us demanding what we're worth, us knowing what we're worth, knowing what we deserve, us knowing that no, I shouldn't be having to struggle because I deserve this and that. That's being entitled. I said, see, that's the problem right there. Okay. That's the problem right there. And this is not a new thing. Another thing that I want to say here, okay, and some of y'all might get mad, but it is because y'all know I don't really care. Because can we stop making support a competition? I saw some people who were like, "Well, Monique Ben says, and Monique said it, y'all whatever." But now you wanna support it up. Both are right. Why does it always have to be a competition? So we can't support what Monique said, and we can't support what Taraji said, or some people who maybe didn't hear it then they hear it now. Okay, so we're all they hear like it doesn't have to be the one or the other. Y'all support Taraji, but you should have been supporting Monique. I support both. And a lot of people who are saying that, y'all wasn't posting like that. Y'all wasn't in a big support. Why does it have to be one or the other? That's the way in the Black community I will never understand that we unnecessarily divide ourselves. It's always got to be, well, even I saw in the comments, well, she's talking about this and that. What we need to be talking about is how we're underpaid in this field and this field. We're all underpaid. Acknowledging one does not mean that the other is not true. I even saw it was a Black man. He got blocked. Actually, blocked himself because y'all know he called me a B, so I called him a whole B back. Now one of my accounts is on restrictions. But anyway, and try to say, make it a well, Black men, we go through this too. Didn't nobody say y'all didn't? Like what? Oh my God! But we do know for a fact. Y'all can look it up that Black women are the most overqualified and underpaid. Period. Period. This is not a debate. This is not, you know what I'm saying? This is not a debate. We know this. We have to stop as a Black community. I'm speaking to Black folks, always making or somehow we acknowledge one, then we're dismissing another. And y'all saying, well, you should have been this. Y'all should be looking at this. Y'all should be talking about this. Y'all should have been supporting. We can talk about it all. Damn it. I talk about it all on my show. We have to stop unnecessarily dividing ourselves. How are we had two Black women, Monique and Taraji, saying the same thing, but y'all gonna sit here and pit the situations against each other and saying, yep, see, we've had this person say this person says, this person says, this person say this. Obviously, this is true. So now what are not we, what are the people who can make a change? What are they going to do? Okay, this ain't my I don't want to say this ain't my fight because, like I said, I can relate so much to this. I actually was in a reading the other day. Okay, if you one of those people that's like, oh my god, I don't like tarot and I don't like this probably ain't gonna be the show or platform for you. Because I mean, it's all that I believe in spiritual mediumship. I think I just lost a viewer when I said that. Ha, that's okay. Um, but I'm into all that stuff, and so I was actually just in a reading the other day, and I was talking about this an upcoming email that I need to send about some partnerships and stuff. And she was talking about how basically she could pick up that I'm stressing because she was like, you are in a field where you're already see that people don't get what they deserve. And so here you are stressing to ask for what you already know that you deserve just because you're already like, is this even a possibility? Because I'm already seeing that, the crumbs is crumbing. Like she said, the math ain't math. And I was like, no, for real. And here I am, knowing what I deserve, but being afraid to ask it because it's crazy. But you have people, and I'm talking about even in your own community, who'll be, oh, you charge too much. Are you? No, because if I was a white woman, you wouldn't have said nothing. You wouldn't have said that. But now I charge too much, and I'm charging you crumbs. I can't barely do nothing with this little check under a 1,000. You know what I'm saying? And you telling me I got the audacity to ask for something that can actually pay my bills? We do this all the time. And that's why so often you see so many people, especially Black people, who go off and they build their own entities, right? Because they're tired of giving people all of themselves, all their product, all their creativity for nothing. To be told how to do it, then on top of it, to not be paid enough to do it. It's not an accident or just happenstance. You look at people, so many people who have done this, but I'm just thinking of a recent here in Minnesota. You look at Georgia Ford, who now has Black press, who now is Overpower 104.7. Those things are not happenstance. Those things happen 'cause people know the importance of ownership and they get tired of dealing with all this red tape. And people don't, especially Black folks, don't want to be put in a position, which this happens in radio all the time, to where at any moment, because you don't like something we said or whatever, you just take it all away from us. That's why I left Jazz 88. Ooh, I said it. I know people have also left because of that. Ooh, I said it anyway. It is what it is. And that happens all the time. People will kill me because they'll say, and then, yeah, I'm ranting, y'all, but y'all gonna listen. They'll be like, "Oh, why don't you apply for this outlet? Why don't you apply?" You know how hard it is for a Black person, period, to get a job in Minnesota in the news field. Okay? If y'all really look, they're just now having a little bit more color. Okay. Before you just see the one that representing the whole Black population. But it is extremely difficult. It's not that we're not applying, it's not that, but a lot of times you have to be so cookie cutter, it's like you're not even yourself to even be able to be in those positions. You have to be a certain type of way, a certain type of Black. So anyway, I say all this to say I resonate so much with what Taraji is saying because it has been so many times where I've had that same frustration, you know what I mean? And feeling very boxed in, and then I'm wondering if I'm ever gonna really get what I deserve. And so while I hope that she does not obviously leave the acting game, I totally understand why she feels the way that she feels. And it's so discouraging, you know what I mean, when you're seeing like this is what I should have and this is what I'm getting. Some may adding up. I hope that from this role alone that she is receives another Academy nod and wins it. And I hope that people will really keep this conversation going because it's very, very necessary. Anyway, we're going to move on from that. There's a couple of things I want to talk to you about today. Y'all see, y'all see, I said, because I'm trying to figure out if I want to, you know, I don't, we go to, okay, so Janelle, I'll make this quick because I don't want to, I don't know. This is disturbing for me, but it needs to be talked about. I'll make this quick because y'all saw me report about this. As you can see, I got my nice. Y'all like my new little article overlays and stuff. It's cute, right? Um, Janelle James, like we all know her and love her from Abbott Elementary, which is slated to come back, I think, in February or something like that. Okay, and they've also kind of been in the headlines for some other things about some of what is it? Taylor James. I think maybe some other co-stars signing on to a letter in support of Israel. We're not going to talk about that because I try to stay as far away from that stuff as possible. 'Cause I don't want to say nothing wrong, and y'all can't. I don't want to say the C word. But this came up because it's resurfaced. It's been a lot of resurfaced videos and stuff popping up of this sketch the comedian did where she talks about y'all can read it here. Y'all see what it says. Fans call for boycott after Abbott Elementary stars comedy sketch about sons genitalia resurfaced this. So here's what she said in this comedy sketch. She talks about how she said her youngest dick got D. Now, it's hard for me to even read this, y'all, because it's just it makes me just shudder. But she talks about I didn't know he had a D. They say you blink and you miss it, and it's true. Go on to say that she was sitting on the edge of her bed. He ran by from the bathroom. I guess he forgot his towel, and I was like, "What the f is that?" Now, so at first it's kind of like it's funny. That's the D that needs a job. Can't be walking around with all that D and no income. That's disrespectful. Now that part was a little definitely wouldn't be. I wouldn't be saying none of this about my son. But anyway, this is where it really goes left. So she says, you change the diaper, you play rhythm guitar on the PP, she explained before, making these musical noises. That's the best part of having a baby boy. I have never heard that in my life. I saw some people comment under other platforms about this thing. I've heard people saying it before about playing this guitar thing on the I've never heard of that. I don't know where she's from or where the people are from. For some reason, the South. I'm sorry, y'all. That is no disrespect, but I've never ever heard of that ever. So I don't know what that's about. But that action. But a lot some people there was a mixed reaction. A lot of viewers were like, "Oh my god." Someone said Janelle James really thought it was cool to get up on the stage and joke and talk about her son's genitalia. She is trifling and weird as hell. And someone was like, do I think Janelle James' joke was distasteful? Yes. Do I think she's a child predator? No. At the time when I wrote this up, I didn't see that she had any comment. People in the comments really the people in my comments definitely show dismay. I mean, shout out to Be the Singer who said, "Girl, what? Not a good look for her." Well, how do y'all feel? Let me know in the comments. How do y'all feel about this? I definitely was like, "Oh no," when I saw it. I definitely watched the video. I'm gonna start bringing the videos up on here. Y'all be trying to be cool because I'm still new to YouTube, trying to figure out what I can and can't do. But I'm gonna bring these clips so that y'all can really see and hear what I'm talking about. Um, because so like I said, I kind of agree with what someone said. Do I think she's you know what? I'm gonna leave it out of it because I know that some people can look at this and be extremely triggered by that because it's really nothing to joke about, period. You know what I mean? Do I think that she is someone who is out here preying on folks? Did I pick that up from the joke necessarily? But did I definitely feel like, what the yeah, definitely. And I think the main thing is the fact that it's one thing that she's, saying these things, but I think the biggest thing was the fact that she's on the show Abbott Elementary. Hello, you know what I mean? This is elementary, kid, school. So to have someone out here saying this, and especially at a time where people so long people laughed off and didn't talk about things and dismissed things and downplayed things that really are abuse. Um, and so, I don't know how this is gonna play out. I haven't seen anything as far as I'm saying, oh, she's been removed from the show. I don't honestly think a lot of people I don't think it stirred up the conversation and controversy that people would think, excuse me, that it would. And so I don't know where this is gonna go. We're gonna be following it. We're gonna see. Okay. To wrap this, well, we're going to wrap up our headline. Oh, you know what? Yeah, because we're gonna do that headline last because they don't even deserve to be talked about that much. Okay, but this is someone who does deserve to be talked about. So shout out to Quenisha Adams. I know her as Niche. From St. Paul, Minnesota. For those of you who don't know, as it says here, Twin Cities Mile transforms grief into new book for kids. So this book is called Super O and Co. Save a Baby Bird. It is actually available on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and I think she talked about on Facebook doing a signing soon. So y'all make sure you look out for that. So she what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so she has released this book and it's really cute. I'm actually gonna pull this up. So the book is based on her two kids, Ocean and Cody. So that's why you see Super O and Co. I think it's such a cute illustration that they did there. And the book is about um Super O and Co. Save a Baby Bird tells the story of Ocean and Cody playing outside after dinner one day with their pet dog Dom when all of a sudden a baby bird fell from its nest. With their guardian angels, guidance, Super O and Co. are able to save the baby bird by safely returning it to its home nest. The power that these two possess are not supernatural. They are simply by being good Samaritans. The action is shown while being safe and making the right choice to take care of the environment and the community and assisting all of those in it. So this was inspired actually really by a tragic situation. So many of you who um are would be familiar with the story. In June 2020, it was actually the morning of Father's Day. Quenisha Adams' fiance and the father of her children, Cody Pollard, 27, was killed in downtown Minneapolis on the morning of Father's Day. Um, uh, Left in devastation and grief, Quenisha Adams has now channeled her energy into a children's book inspired by her children and their father's legacy. That's what I had posted when I wrote this up. I had paused for a second. I was just thinking about, so I had actually met Cody the week before he had cut my hair. I haven't had anybody who's cut since. I call it the Cody cut. And nobody cut hair like him. He cut my hair, and it was a very actually fun experience because he had Ocean there, who you see on this book, and he was so little at the time. And I had my son there, my son's friend, and so the boys were playing, and Cody was, he very professional. He knew I had cut my own hair, y'all. It was a mess. Yeah, he didn't judge me for it. He just said, "Ah, you did enough," But he walked me through every step, every tool that he was using and just every step in the process of the cut. And I was just like, oh, this is gonna be great. I love the haircut. And I was just like, oh, this will be great. It was gonna be my barber. You have the kids, they're playing with the kids. This is just gonna be a great kind of wholesome family experience, you know what I mean? And then a week later this happened. And so I said, like, or actually Quenisha had posted to her own Facebook page when she announced this book, saying that another positive way for me to handle my grief is to write. I've been all over the place trying to accomplish all these goals, and it has finally come together. This book is dedicated to my children and Cody. And so, as I said, you can go and cop this on, cop is such an old saying. You can go and purchase this on Amazon and at Barnes and Noble. I'm very proud of her for this. For accomplishing this. She's definitely a person who I feel like over the years I've seen really like set a goal, stick to it, and accomplish that. So I'm very, very happy for this release. And it's really just, to me, a powerful story of different ways that we handle grief. I've been talking about this a lot this excuse me, past fall and all going into winter, and how to turn something so tragic into something that is positive and to keep their legacy alive and going. I think that's so important just to be able to survive. You know what I mean? When you lose someone, it's so devastating no matter how it happens. So I want to go back to this, y'all. It's my last headline for today. And then I'll go into a little mini message. But these people over here on the right side, I don't know if y'all see the era when I do it, but on the right side here, you see this white woman. Then y'all be familiar with that face. You looking at it right. That's Kim Potter. I always want to say Porter, but Potter, the former Brooklyn Center police officer who murdered Dante Wright in April of 2021. Yeah, that's her cheesing like nothing happened. Okay, it's just another day. And this man who you see here, his name is, let me pull it up because I don't want to say it wrong. Not that I feel like these people deserve for me to say it right, but for reporting purposes, and I'm a professional, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and pull up what I posted about these fools yesterday. So this is Imran Ali, Senior Director of Law Enforcement, or Senior Director of Law Enforcement, Education, Training, and Consulting. So, you also might be familiar with the fact that he initially was the one, because he was working as the assistant Washington County attorney at the time. He was the one who initially was the prosecutor on the case and charged Potter with the murder of Wright before Ellison's office had to take over, because I'm talking about Imran. I'm trying to be respectful, not cuss. I'm gonna just say PA. Y'all can figure out what that stands for. Step down, basically because he said that basically we as activists and media were spreading a lot of misinformation, and he was dealing with all these like complaints and like threats. I don't know what the case may be. Basically, he's stepped down because he really knew that he was on her side and he didn't want to prosecute her. And Ellison, they had to take over because they knew it wasn't going to be done right. So in this picture, which is posted to his LinkedIn, the caption says, "Great afternoon, working on important collaboration. If you know, then you know. Hashtag 2024. The fact that I wish I don't want y'all to feel how I just felt in my stomach, but just feel to know just how sickening this makes me feel. Because one, let me give y'all a history lesson. So many times these officers who commit these heinous crimes, acts. I mean, basically kill black folks unnecessarily. Um, oftentimes are rehired in other precincts, other cities, other states. I know the officer who murdered Trey. Why am I've just had his name in my head. Tamir Rice. I know that he's employed somewhere else. I feel like Yanez may be, well, he was trying to get back, he was trying to get employed in SPPS, which was crazy. But oftentimes these officers, most time for one, they're not sent to prison, so they're not getting out of jail and then going back into work. But even if they are put on, are on trial, all that type of stuff, even if found guilty, maybe in a civil suit, whatever the case may be, they go on to be re-employed in law enforcement. Now we don't know what the heck is going on with this apparent collaboration that they got going on. I mean, the fact that one of the main things that people pointed out, and I actually saw this because of Aubrey Wright, the father of Dante Wright, had posted about it to his page. But the fact that this man, as I said, is the senior director of law enforcement education, training, and consulting. Now, one of the main things they talked about when it comes to this fool, and I'm talking about Kim, is the fact that she was a supervisor who trained officers, okay, on when how basically what they do, train them how to use these tasers, train them how to use these things. And remember, she claimed that she pulled out a gun and thought it was a taser, and that's how this happened. So I don't really care, even if her being out, period, pisses me off. But her being in anything that has to do with law enforcement, anything has to do with anything has to do with public service. How about that? Um, is disgusting and horrendous and honestly terrifying. You know what I mean? And this is how and why we have so many issues with dismantling not just the system, but dismantling our entire police force, because they just put them right back in there, just you know what I mean, as if nothing happened. So I was like, I could have pulled up a picture so y'all could have really seen this, but I was like, I'm not gonna give them the time of day to really do that. Okay, so we're coming up on the time we're gonna wrap up this show. As I had mentioned, it's been a while since I connected with y'all. I'm glad I was able to connect with y'all today, because the grief has been whooping my ass. Okay, remember I did um I did uh the episode early on in the season about dealing with grief during the holidays. And I had to go back and listen to it and take my own advice. You know what I mean? What really helped me, and I talked about this before, is really the cookie party and doing those traditions that, specifically for me, Auntie, who I lost in February 2014, was a part of, and having those people around who were a part of that, I mean, those people around who share in those memories, because you really feel like you're bringing the spirit, into the room. And so I really encourage you all, especially if you're dealing with a lot of grief, to definitely surround yourself. Don't isolate yourself. Because I was kind of going into that mode. I was getting into that mode of like F everybody and whatever. And not like anything was like going on, but like I was just going to that mode, like, you know what, maybe I just need to kind of like just fall back, do me for a while. No. No, I want you to force yourself to at least do one social activity this holiday season, whether it's friends, maybe you take yourself out to see the movies that's coming out, maybe it's going to play, whatever it is. I love just gathering with friends in a low key, night in setting to do that. You know what I mean? To really get that energy up, you know what I mean? Maybe get those. I was gonna say endorphins up, but I don't really think that I'm saying that right. But get the things up, you know what I mean, to really get you through this in that holiday spirit, but also acknowledging that, of course, your brain is still in many ways trained to want to experience the things that you experienced when they were still here. And of course, you still, at the end of the day, you could do a lot of things, but they're not still here. But definitely acknowledging that and allowing yourself to sit in that, you know what I mean? And then going to the moment, okay, how am I gonna pick myself up from this? Or who can I lean on to pick me up for this? Or what can I listen to? What food I can eat? Let me tell you something. I'm gonna give you opposite advice because they say, a healthy diet and blah, blah, blah. Listen, please indulge in all the goodness that's going on. Okay, indulge in those cookies, indulge in that whatever it is, a holiday party food. Okay, yes, we know that eating a healthy diet helps depression and blah 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 blah. Okay, but I'm just talking about grief right now specifically. And I want you to not feel guilty about indulging, in those things. But also, like I said before, about establishing new traditions and new memories and knowing that it's okay that you're not going to be letting them go by wanting to try something new. You know what I mean? Maybe it's I've been really into Christmas lights this season. We went to Bentleyville in Duluth, and that was a really, really fun experience. It's something that I know will keep going. Something I maybe have been kind of hesitant to do just because I feel like maybe I was leaving Auntie behind because she wasn't a part of those experiences. Um, but no, do not be afraid, to do that, you know what I mean? And to help get through this time, you know what I mean? And also to when you feel yourself being like, I'm low energy, type of stuff, that's okay. That's how I was last week. And then it took the, I had a lot on my plate. With just work and obviously being a mom and trying to do all these things with business stuff like that, and I was just like, oh my god, you know what I mean? It was too much, and the party really helped. Another thing I want to leave you with too is to try to declutter the stuff around you as much as possible. I know when you're grieving or depressed, it's really hard to do that. When you have those bursts of energy, take advantage of that and try to get a lot of the things off that to-do list. Done, and cross those things off because having a whole bunch of things that you also feel like are on top of your head, which is easy to do during this time, you're trying to Christmas shop and all of that. Try to get some of the things you're really like, okay, I can get this done, and get this done. Get that done when you do have that energy because that's gonna help. It's one thing you're already grieving, you don't need other things on top of you. And I think sometimes when you're like, okay, I got that done, that sense of accomplishment and being proud of yourself that you accomplished that while going through this is going to help a lot. And to leave y'all all, one thing I want to say, this is just to my black woman, and this is actually going back to what we were talking about Taraji P. Henson. I'm gonna put our girl back up here, specifically to my black woman in 2024 and beyond. Okay, demand to be paid what you are worth. And if you're not being paid what you are worth, walk away from that situation because they don't deserve it anyway. It's not simple to do. Okay. It's not simple to do. Okay. But anyone listening, no more we go on settling. Okay, for the crumbs, settling for what we know that we do not deserve. Pay the black ones, real simple. I know people have a problem with doing that, but no more. Okay, we'll be walking around here knowing we're getting less when we should be getting more. Okay, so shout out to Taraji. Shout out to all the black women, whether you're in acting, whether you're in the whatever you're in, who have been speaking out about this. The more we speak out about it, the more we will finally see some traction and change into getting what we deserve. All right, y'all gotta wrap this up because y'all know I'm a parent. I gotta get my kid up in the school. I know he ain't up. Usually, I honestly, y'all usually start the process of getting him up a whole hour before he actually needs to get up because that's how many times I gotta tell him to get up. But he be in the deepest sleep, and because I don't want to be yelling and rushing because that don't help nobody. I'm like, let me. This is on me. I gotta get him up early because I know how he is. So then that way, by the time it's like, okay, we really gotta get going. He's up. You know what I mean? It's not this whole yelling thing, and nobody want to start their day with yelling. Nobody want to end their day with yelling. You know what I mean? So anyway, thank you all so much for tuning in. I want to thank so many of the people who are new to my platform. We've been rocking around these past couple days. I'm gonna keep these headlines going. I see y'all really love when we really focus on conversations to have to do with Black women. Okay, I've always been about that. I remember when I first came into this industry, a man, of course, was like, "Oh, well, it's a good thing it's not just a woman's show." That's what he said. Well, it is a woman's show. It's a Black woman's show, period. And we ain't ashamed to say that. All right, so tune in next week. I actually have like an exciting thing I'm doing. Well, I'm not gonna announce about it. I'm doing a virtual party type of thing soon. I will post soon what it's going to be. Okay, got a couple things coming up, and um, I might. I thought about doing some Christmas cookie stuff, decorating stuff, because people be like, "How do you make this? How do you make that?" So I think I'm gonna start doing some lives too with how I cook certain things. People be like, "Oh, I love this," or "I love that." So anyway, got a lot of content coming for these next 2 weeks, and then definitely to the end of the year, we'll be off in January, and we'll be coming back on with a lot of new stuff. All right, y'all gotta go off, be a parent. Y'all have a great day. Be safe, okay, and always show yourself love first. All right, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.